Hello, friendos and bendos, it's me, Z, and welcome to a new series on YouTube that I'm doing called So What's Up With, which is basically just a series where I can talk about things with less editing and less research and analysis, and more so have a conversation with you guys. I've been kind of burnt out on YouTube a bit recently. I've been treating it a lot more like a job than a hobby like I used to, and I realized that it's been kind of messing with my mental a bit. And I will still be doing my heavily edited videos, but I'll be able to space them out a bit more and feel less like garbage when I make them because I'll be able to, make these smaller videos for you guys. And today, we're doing our first topic, which is So What's Up With Katana? Katana, real name Tatsuya Mashiro, was created back in Brave and the Bold number 200 by Mike W. Barr and Jim Aparo in a preview story for the new book Batman and the Outsiders. Now, Batman and the Outsiders is one of my favorite comic books of all time. It's so fun, and it's just such a comfort book for me, and Tatsu ended up being one of my favorite characters. I love Katana so much, and I like that DC has not forgotten her. A lot of characters DC forgets, but Katana has appeared in multiple comics recently and multiple adaptations. It's really nice. However, I do feel like there is a bit of a problem, which is that a very core part of Katana's character has been forgotten, which is her relationship with Halo, aka Violet Harper, aka Gabrielle Doe. Now, this relationship is honestly, I feel, essential to Katana's character, but essential in that Batman and Robin way, which is the fact that Batman and Robin, I think, are meant to, be together. I feel like you can't have Batman without at some point bringing in Robin. But at the same time, you can do a Batman adaptation without Robin, but I feel like you're missing something. And that's the exact same thing that I feel like with Katana. I feel like Katana's relationship with Halo is as essential to her as Batman and Robin are. Not as iconic as them, but definitely they should be able to constantly be together. Like when I watch a Batman adaptation and I know that Robin's not coming, I'm feeling a little meh, you know what I mean? Like sure, Batman is cool because, he's a cool super martial artist, detective, super rich guy, but at the same time, Robin adds levity, adds a bit of nuance to Batman, adds somebody for him to care for. And that's the same thing with Katana, because Katana is a mother. That's a big part of her character. Her husband and children were killed, and she went on this quest for revenge, and I really like that. I think it's pretty unique in terms of characterization because a lot of times this is a male-centered role. A lot of times it's a man whose wife and kids are killed and he goes on the path of vengeance. A lot of times you don't see this with a mother character. I feel like that part of Katana is just something that needs to be explored more. Her status as a mother, somebody who has this capacity to care and love so much, but that's been taken from her and she feels like she can only feel vengeance. And then Halo comes into her life and she's essentially her new daughter, alright? They are mother and daughter in every sense of the word aside from biological. And I love in that original Batman and the Outsiders run, seeing them develop as a family, see Katana and Halo, talk about, Halo's time at high school and her getting braces. And I feel like I'm watching this mother-daughter duo, they fight crime by day, but they also have this just beautiful familial connection, and I think that's awesome. And I feel like a lot of adaptations and recent comics kind of throw this away. Halo has been forgotten, and even in stuff that Halo is in, she isn't connected to Katana, which I feel like is a really poor decision. Young Justice Season 3. I love Young Justice Season 3, mostly because of Halo, and I watched Young Justice Season 3 before I read Batman and the Outsiders. So I don't know, if I liked Halo more in Batman and the Outsiders because of Young Justice Season 3, or, if, they kind of coalesced together. But regardless, I absolutely loved Halo in that show, and I wish she had that relationship that she has with Katana in the comics, because I feel like that's something that could have been so beautifully done. I feel like Young Justice Season 3, despite being an Outsiders season, it wasn't really about the Outsiders, It was partially about the Outsiders. We had Geoforce and Halo, but Katana, Metamorpho, they were on another side of that thing. And I just wasn't that big of a fan of that, in hindsight. Obviously, when I was watching it and I didn't read the comics, I was like, oh, it's fine. But after reading the comics, I'm like, wow, they really should have, like they really should have added this thing in, you know? And I feel like this is just one part of many that is keeping Katana, I feel, from being such a well explored character and such a well liked character in the public sphere. Because, like, Katana, people know her, but they don't know her. Like, she's in a lot of stuff, you know? She's in DC Superhero Girl, she's in the Arrowverse, She's in the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon. She's in the Beware the Batman cartoon. I think she was in the DCAU. And she was also in, of course, the DCEU, you know. This is Katana. She's got my back. I'd advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the soul of its victims. Yeah, everybody knows that line. And I feel like that being the thing that Katana is most famous for is honestly a bit sad because like she's such more than a really shitty piece of dialogue in a bad movie. And I think that this is just something that DC should really look more into. I love a Batman and the Outsiders film or show in the Gun DCU. I think that'd be so fun, and I'd love to finally see that connection. We're finally gonna see a new Batman and Robin in live action. We haven't seen that since the Schumacher era, and most people want to forget that era, for good reason. And I feel like if we're gonna get Batman and Robin again, why not get Katana and Halo? But that's just my thoughts. I want to know your guys' thoughts, and please tell me in the comments below. And what do you think of this new format? Do you enjoy it? Do you want me to stick to more longer, more well thought out research videos? Just want to know your thoughts. All right, but that's been it for me, Z, and I'll see you in the Soul Taker Sword. Bye.